Welcome to NSE's road trip. This is the ninth session of the NSE road trip, and today's session will be featuring NSE's experiential and field-based programs. We've titled this session Beyond the Classroom. You're going to hear from, I think, 8 or 9 campuses and/or programs that take students outside of the classroom. I'll be giving a little basic info about the National Student Exchange. Then every campus and program will do an introduction, and then we'll have some time for Q&A as well. If you have questions or comments as we go along, please use the chat, and we'll do our best to respond to the chat at that time. My name is David Holliday. I work for the National Student Exchange. I'm also an NSE coordinator at the University of Minnesota, and I'd love to tell you a little bit more about National Student Exchange. So we were founded in 1968. We are almost 60 years old, offering study away programs throughout the United States, Guam, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Canada. A little bit about our mission. We inspire academic enrichment, personal exploration, and student development by facilitating accessible collegiate study away among our member colleges and universities. Our values are that we value diversity, open-mindedness, and cross-cultural engagement to foster learning, understanding, and respect, and a sense of community among all people. Our purpose is to allow students to grow academically, grow personally, grow professionally. They can take new courses, meet new people, and expand their horizons. A little more about NSE. We currently have about 160 campuses available for exchange, again, all throughout the United States, Canada, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Any major is welcome. We have programs and campuses that can accommodate every single major that's available out there. There are some restrictions and limitations or closed programs. It's important to look at the campus profiles for that. NSE is also extremely affordable. You'll hear reference to this throughout the presentations today, but either students will be placed on home tuition, where they continue to pay tuition and fees to their home campus, or away tuition, where they pay in-state or resident rate tuition and fees to their host campus or program. And in general, financial aid from the home campus should remain applicable for all NSE students. Eligibility requirements are pretty basic. We really try hard to make this an accessible program for all students. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Constance Slaughter from the University of Idaho, who's going to be talking about their Semester in the Wild program. Take it away, Constance.
Thank you, David. My name is Constance Slaughter. I am the NSE coordinator here at the University of Idaho, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our Semester in the Wild program that we offer. Next slide. So the Semester in the Wild program, it is a fall-only program that is in its 17th year as of this year. It's offered in the Taylor Wilderness Research Station. That's where students go to study and learn. And that facility is situated in the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness. It's a 2.9-mile-acre wilderness research station that is owned by the University of Idaho. So only people who are doing research or enrolled in the University of Idaho are able to enter that area. Students who participate in a Semester in the Wild program enroll in 17 credits as part of their semester. It is a set curriculum because the professors that come and teach have to be flown in, and they teach their course for about 3 weeks, I believe, and then they fly out and they're replaced by a new teacher. But the program kind of has this focus on ecology, environmental writing, wilderness management, outdoor leadership, that sort of thing. And students, it's all in person, obviously, and they're in nature the entire time during the entire course of the semester. So during the warmer seasons, they're in these what are they called? Wall tents that you can see in this photo here that house 2 students, and they share that tent. And then in the colder months, they go ahead and move into like a cabin. So this program, it's pretty limited in their capacity. It's only able to accept 17 students. Last semester, I do believe they had 14 students participate, and two of them were NSE students that we got. So students here, while they're out there, they are able to use the internet to order food. If you forget something, you like need to order, I don't know, a spoon or something, some kind of snack or treat you want, students can do that using the internet, and a mail plane comes out and brings your Amazon packages. That's essentially the only communication you have with the outside world. Like I said, this is literally in the field, so a lot of it is hands-on experience. You're out there collecting samples in a real creek. You are writing about nature ecology while you are in nature. The superintendent of Taylor Ranch, his name is Andrew Armstrong, and he's out there all year. So he is kind of one of the pillars of this program, and he does a lot to help students kind of like get used to living while they're out there. While you're out there, you can go fishing, fly fishing, bring in your own materials. You can buy a fishing license online in Idaho. It's pretty easy, same day kind of process. And Andrew, he last year did shoot an elk, and he prepared it and ate it and shared it with the students. So that was an interesting experience for all of them. So those are kind of the things that you can do in your free time while you're out there. We do accept students on either home pay or away pay for this program. University of Idaho's home or away pay, if you're paying our in-state tuition, it's $4,888. Home pay would be your in-state tuition. You can ask your NSE coordinator at home about that. But as part of this semester in the Wild program, you would have to pay this set room and board fee because it includes that specific housing and the mail plane that will bring your food out and things like that. It says round trip transportation between Cascade, Idaho. And from what I understand, students do hike to the Taylor Wilderness Research Station from Cascade, Idaho, and it's about a 35-mile hike to that research station. That's how the program begins. And at the end, when it's colder, they are flown back. And the website, we do have a website where it kind of outlines semester in the wild, some things that you might want to do to prepare your body. And then they have a whole list of things that they recommend that you bring. But again, if something breaks or you forget something, you are able to place orders through Amazon and have it delivered. But the temperatures can vary from like 80 degrees and sunny to like 10 degrees and snowing during that season. So you kind of want to be well prepared. If you're interested in semester in the wild, if that didn't totally freak you out, if you got excited about that, then this program is definitely for you. So when you are applying through the NSE org application and you select the University of Idaho, please mention in the course preference section that you are wanting to participate in semester in the wild. There is a separate application that we have to complete with our College of Natural Resources, and their application deadline is March 2nd. So it's a little before the priority placement conference. So we ask that students let us know as soon as possible so that we can notify the relevant college and kind of get them in the system and have them apply before the deadline. And if you do have any questions, feel free to email me. My email address is cslaughter@uidaho.edu. And the College of Natural Resources, CNR, is also having an info session for any students who still have questions or are interested. Take a screenshot, feel free to do that. And that's all I have for this program. Thanks for letting me talk about it.
Sounds great.
Oh,
Thanks so much, Constance. Oops, jumping all over the place. So as Constance said, they do accept students on home pay. Of course, students pay room and board and costs for the field trips to the program, or away pay, which is $4,888 a semester. Students certainly should talk to their home NSE coordinator about application and fees and things like that. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Constance. Next up, we have Anne, who's going to tell us about the Alaska Mester program.
Hey everyone. As David said, my name is Anne. I'm here in Fairbanks, Alaska. So here at University of Alaska Fairbanks, our special program is Alaska Mester, which unlike the program we just heard about and a lot of the programs you'll hear about today, it's not actually a field-based program, but it is experiential. So Alaska Mester is our way of very intentionally welcoming visiting students to campus for the spring semester and connecting them with all the experiential learning opportunities that we have here in this very unique location in the center of Alaska. So the program takes part on our main campus in Fairbanks, like I said, right in the heart of Alaska, where we are kind of a small college town. But then if you go, unlike a lot of other locations, if you go like 15 minutes in any direction, you are like right there in the roadless wilderness of Alaska. One of the other things Fairbanks is really known for is aurora viewing. Most people that visit Fairbanks come here for like 3 days, try to see the aurora. Sometimes are disappointed if they don't, but if you're here for a full semester, you are almost certainly going to see it, unless you go to bed at 8 p.m. every night. It's also a great place to be experiencing real winter too. Um, we have several tracks in the Alaska Master program. These are not meant to be restrictive. These are just kind of guidelines for some of the kind of experiential learning opportunities that you could have both in and out of the classroom here. So this is a great program if you are interested in climate science and climate activism. The Arctic is warming faster than anywhere else, so this is unfortunately a great place to be investigating that. And we have a climate scholars program here that you can join in the same classes as those students. We also have really strong science programs in, for example, wildlife biology and geosciences, where there are some field research opportunities. We have a lot of outdoor exploration opportunities, both classes that you can actually do in that area, as well as extracurricular stuff we'll talk about in a moment. And then we have a full suite of arts, humanities, social science programs too, including opportunities to learn Alaska Native languages and learn about Alaska Native culture. For Alaska Semester students, we have some weekend trips throughout the semester, including a kind of orientation trip at the beginning of the semester that is just for those students. And then students in this program also have access to even more optional trips and activities through outdoor adventure programs too, plus really cheap gear rental. So some of the trips specifically for Alaska Semester students that we've had have included cultural and museum visits, science and research site visits. Like a couple weeks ago, our current cohort of Alaska Semester students visited the Large Animal Research Center, where we have reindeer and muskox that are used for research. That's a baby muskox right at the top there. And then we have a lot of outdoor recreation experiences for both in the Outdoor Adventures program and then built-in trips for Alaska Semester students. So these can include both cross-country and downhill skiing, fat biking, which is a bike with really fat tires to give you stability on snow, rock climbing and ice climbing, and winter camping and cabin trips, and more. And part of the reason we do Alaska Semester in the spring semester is this is a great time of year to be getting outside. We have consistent snow cover where it looks like a winter wonderland through at least the end of March, sometimes into April, but also increasing amounts of daylight to get out and enjoy stuff in. Like I said, this is actually a campus-based program. We are a fairly small school for a state school, so it's a campus that's small enough to be very friendly and personal, but also big enough to have a lot going on. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved, participate in our like once-a-year traditions, and also be learning about Alaska Native culture outside of class as well. So like I mentioned, Alaska Semester is currently only in the spring semester. It is also available currently on both home pay and away pay. Away pay is $5,595 a semester in tuition. And then as for all NSE programs, you're also responsible for your room and board and transportation to get up here to Fairbanks. And I hope you'll consider joining us.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Anne. And I think just with my experience with this program, you'll accept students coming up at priority placements in March, but you continue generally to accept students through sometime next fall for that spring semester. Is that true?
Yeah, that's correct.
So, wonderful. Thanks so much. Next up, we are coming to the heartland, to Iowa State University, and I'd like to introduce Allison and Margot to talk about a couple of their special programs.
Hi, everyone. My name is Margot Christensen. I am the NSE coordinator here at Iowa State, and I am joined by the director of the program, Allison. Next slide, please. So even though we are located in Ames, Iowa, our program that we're going to be spotlighting is called Montana Camp. Currently, this is a summer-only program. It is located in Fish Creek Valley, about 50 minutes west of Missoula, Montana. This takes place at the French Conservation Education Camp. You can see in the photo here is the name of the area. Very rural, very beautiful part of the state. Our program dates, there's two options. The first is May 30th through June 28th, and then the second starts immediately after on June 29th through the 25th of July. Students do have the option to participate in both time periods, so you could either choose to come for 1 month at the beginning for the full 2 months, or just choose the second portion of the experience. And then, as we'll get into, the main theme of camp is to experience hands-on learning from professionals in the field in the beautiful state of Montana. Next slide, yes. So what will you do? And Allison, feel free to jump in if you have anything that you'd like to add here. But the first thing that we'd like to highlight is that you'll have the opportunity to gain important skills that may help you land a future job. Having this on your resume could really help you stand out when you're applying for different occupations in the future. And you'll get to participate in real research with professionals in the field of your interest. Another highlight is that you'll get to spend a lot of time outdoors. As we've mentioned a few times, it's just absolutely beautiful. I think even looking at that picture, seeing how green all of those trees are and everything is really encompasses what you'd be experiencing. Additionally, there are top-notch instructors who will be in the field with you, who will help you learn how to actually do the science that you're interested in, specifically with natural resource management. And then we'll talk in depth a little bit more about what courses are offered in our next slides. Additionally, because you would be taking credits, you could be checking off things for your major or adding things to your degree plan in the summer using this program. And overall, it would be a one-of-a-kind opportunity in Montana. Okay, so something that would come to mind for me if I was interested in doing something like this is, where am I going to live? So here's some pictures that I just pulled from the website. The first one is one of the student housing options, and the following is just another option. Typically, it's 4 people per unit. Each unit will have 4 twin beds in 1 or 2 bedrooms. Course, just depends. Additionally, there will be a bathroom, living room, a small kitchenette with microwave and mini fridge, so you can kind of take care of yourself in your own space. And then in the common spaces, there is a full kitchen, there's TVs, fireplace, and so yes, you're kind of out in the wild, but you still kind of have the coziness and amenities of being kind of in cabin lifestyle living. The dining hall can fit up to 50 people, so it can be a very sociable environment. It used to be a restaurant, which I think is a fun fact for that area. And so, yeah, you can kind of just pretend that you're going out to eat every single night. Otherwise, some other things about the facilities outdoors. There is a fire pit. There's also some horseshoe pits, a swing set, half basketball court, gazebo, a pond. So there's lots of things to keep you busy when you are not in class. You can spend a lot of time outside doing that kind of stuff. Okay, so the courses. The first course is Field Ecology in Montana. And there's a lot of more information on like what each course maybe relates to online, but this is just kind of a general overview. So you'd be looking into the fundamental principles, including individual organisms, populations, communities, and ecosystems. Here's an example of what the classroom would look like when you were spending time inside. But as you can see here, you'd fully utilize the outdoor spaces and do your own observations and studies outside. Okay, and then the second course, and just a reminder here that you could participate in either or both of these courses, is called Wildlife Population Methods. I think this picture does a great job encompassing what you would actually be doing. It says here, sure, knowing whether animal populations are growing or shrinking is crucial to conservation, management, and well, all of ecology. But how do you accurately estimate population numbers in the real world? And so once again, really pushing towards that hands-on learning where you would get to be a part of problem solving, research, and overall really being involved in your own learning. Okay, our costs. This is just a general overview. So if you chose to do just one course at 4 credits, be looking at a little under $2,000. And then these are added fees that would be a part of the total if you did decide to sign on. As you can see, it varies just a tiny bit between each course by just around $100. And there is a $40 application fee. For our application process, this email would be good to maybe write down. You'd be working with Jennifer, who's excellent. She's super excited about sharing this program with NSE students. Once you reached out to her, she'd be able to direct you for specific instructions on how to apply. You're also welcome to reach out to us and we can get you connected with her. But we do recommend that you talk to your home institution right away on how these credits would apply to your home institution.
Hey everyone, I'm Allie and I have the privilege of working with NSE at Iowa State as well. I'm excited to share with you about the George Washington Carver internship program. This is not a field program in the same way that those we've talked about today are, but it is a wonderful intensive learning program where you would be matched one-on-one with a faculty member and really get to do a lot of research with them during the semester you are at Iowa State University. Funding for next year is not yet determined, unfortunately, but I am hopeful enough that we still wanted to include it. So if you are a student in the sciences or even certain other fields, but for sure the sciences, this is something to think about. And it is a pretty generous stipend too. So one-on-one time with faculty working on research, the GWC internship program could be for you. Yeah, we hope you'll think about it on one of these 2 programs, but our students collectively are so lucky to have so many amazing options.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Allie and Margot. And this was mentioned for the Montana Camp program, but it's available essentially on a WayPay where you're paying tuition and the program fees directly to Iowa State or the program. But the George Washington Carver program is available on home pay. Fingers crossed that it continues next year. All right, thanks so much. Next up, we have University of Alaska, Anchorage. And
Thanks,
Eileen,
David.
sorry, Eileen, take it away.
Welcome to the University of Alaska Anchorage. UAA recognizes and values our unique location in South Central Alaska, the ancestral lands of the Dena'ina, Etna, Alutiiq, Supiaq, and Eyak Donahue peoples. My name is Eileen. I am the NSC coordinator here at UAA. UAA is a little unique. We actually have 5 campuses, and so I'm going to be talking about 2 of our campuses outside of Anchorage and our special programs there. First up, we have Homer and the Kenai Peninsula College. The Kenai Peninsula College comprises of the Kenai River campus in Soldotna and the Ketchimack Bay campus in Homer. For this program, it is off-campus housing only, and Homer is known as the halibut capital of the world. Lots of fishing lots of fishing available. For our first program, we're going to be talking about the Semester by the Bay. This program has two separate focuses. It's marine mammal biology in the fall and ecological conservation issues in the spring. This program has a lot of different experimental learning opportunities. So, we have the harbor porpoises, humpback whales, beluga, killer whales, stellar sea lion, and harbor seal surveys that students would be able to participate in for photo identification and abundance purposes. They can also conduct human-wildlife interaction surveys of sea otters and harbor seals in the Homer Port and harbor. Assess sea otter scat for prey, cortisol levels, and potential pathogens. And then in the spring, you have things like the sea otter foraging analysis, acoustic monitoring of birds and noise in terrestrial and nearshore habitats. So, and much, much more than I can get into today. Students in this program, in the fall, they would master biological understandings of marine mammal biology, behavioral ecology, and conservation. In the spring, you would master the biological basis of conservation, excuse me. Overall, for both semesters, you would be able to master implications of global climate change, exploration, application of ecological theory and practices in field and lab settings, as well as sampling protocols used for different species in different environments. It's a lot of very much hands-on research and giving the students the opportunity to design experimental design, interpretation of results, and presentation of those findings. As part of this program, students can actually participate in an internship with partner agencies, which may include the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, Kachemak Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve, and the Harbor Porpoise Research. There are many other partner agencies for this program, and we definitely would be happy to talk more about that later. So with these internships, you're going to partner with local scientists to conduct or communicate to an audience in an appropriate way and relevant research in the field of marine mammal biology in the fall and or conservation ecology in the spring. And we'll move on to our next stop. So Valdez is a 9-hour drive from Homer, but it is only a 5-hour drive from Anchorage. Prince William Sound College is located on the Prince William Sound, which is a fjord formed by retreating glaciers, and it's kind of considered a paradise for outdoor enthusiasts or nature lovers. The Chugach mountain range is nearby, so you'll have the Keystone Canyon, Thompson Pass, which provides access to a lot of waterfalls. And so as such, it is called the Land of Waterfalls. Our first program in Valdez is the Semester on the Sound program. So this program is a beyond the books education through experience, hands-on learning, exploring the alpine tundra, research ocean life, research old growth rainforest has been done in the past. Each semester has a different focus. So in fall, it's a terrestrial focus. Students are allowed to tailor their education to specific interests and career goals. So students could take CPR and first aid courses as well as backpacking alongside conservation of natural resources. In spring, it's a marine focus. Students would take water samples, monitor marine community development, aid in mariculture research, observe wildlife like sea otters and seabirds, and directly participate in research projects. Students in these programs are prepared for entry-level technician positions within the National Park Service, NOAA, the Chugach Regional Resources Commission, and other Alaska Native organizations. This program is great for marine or terrestrial natural science majors overall. Next up, we have our outdoor leadership program. The foundation of outdoor recreation, this is the foundation for outdoor recreation in a professional setting such as tourism, outdoor recreation, and guiding. You can actually get certificates, industry certifications, such as the Swift Water Rescue, Avalanche 1 and 2, sea kayaking skills, and as such, we do have the requirement that A lot of these courses are going to require good physical condition and ability to perform comfortably in extremely cold or inclement weather. There are a number of environmental concerns to mitigate, including bears, mosquitoes, moose, wolves, rivers, tides, weather, and temperature. Um, in the past, students have worked on GPS by going geocaching. They've gone ice climbing in Keystone Canyon and rock climbing in Thompson Pass. Students who complete this program are prepared for careers as tour guides, recreation managers, special event planners, adventure wilderness guides, wilderness medicine instructors. There's also opportunities for internships with Pangea, Alaska Guide, and many others. In the past, students have actually assisted in guiding a day hike to the Tulsana mud volcanoes with the Wrangell Institute for Science and Environment. And I'll go ahead and go to the next slide. So we had a lot of information, and I could talk about all three of these programs for much, much longer than I have today. So I highly encourage you to reach out to one of our professors who helps run the program to kind of give you more information. There is more information online as well, and I am also happy to try and answer any questions or reach out on your behalf. All three of our programs are going to be away pay. And with that, I will pass it back over. Oh, and my apologies. I'm also joined by Dr. Ken Goldman and Sharice Beatis so that they're able to help answer any questions at the end of this presentation. And now with that, I will hand it back to David.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Keep pushing the wrong buttons here. So as Eileen said, these programs are available on NSE terminology away pay, where students pay University of Alaska Anchorage tuition, the in-state rate, plus those costs that were on the previous slide, room and board and etc. Wonderful, thanks. Now we are going to head a little bit further south to Northern Arizona University, and I'd like to introduce Ted, who represents the Grand Canyon semester.
Hi. All right, thanks, David. Yeah, my name's Ted Martinez. I'm the director of Grand Canyon Semester. We're here at Northern Arizona University. If you're familiar with our state, we're in the high elevation. Our campus is at 7,000 feet. We get lots of snow. It's not what people think of Arizona. And we're really close to the Grand Canyon, so that's something we offer. So we do have a program that is an experiential learning program. It's 17 credit hours, and yeah, we have some housing here in town. We utilize off-campus housing, apartment style living for our participants. But we spend a lot of time at the canyon, as you can see in this picture. So it is an immersive experience. We have, follow experiential learning practices and sort of whole person education. We're housed in Honors College, so we're very used to educating the brain of students, but we kind of want to educate the whole student as well. So here's a slide showing some of what we do. And I think the classes will be after this, but let's just talk about the fun stuff. We do go Colorado River whitewater rafting, which is a pretty exceptional experience if you're into that kind of thing. You may know we have one of the largest whitewater in North America is running through that canyon, and we get to go experience it as we, examine the ecological and cultural issues that are going on. That module is dam management, if I could say that. It's how we manage the dam that releases the flows for all the sort of downstream users and recreationists. We also go in backpacking in the canyon. We'd like to say between the river and the rim. Most people visit the rim. Very few people visit the river, and the land in between is very exceptional as well. We have lots of national monuments up here. We also have two indigenous tribes that are extremely closely connected to the Grand Canyon, to our region. And so we tend to meet with them and talk to them about their lifeways and about their relationship to this area. We do camp when we are out in the field. We do camp at the north rim of the Grand Canyon, the south rim of the Grand Canyon, along the river, as we talked about, and on backpacking trips. We do a little kayaking as well. We really like to get out on the water. We do have Lake Powell up here, which is another. It's created by Glen Canyon Dam, and there's a lot of water management issues that we have here. So we like to explore all of those. We meet with experts in the field. We generally have a sit down with the superintendent of Grand Canyon National Park, who is telling us about the management challenges of the national park system. And we volunteer a lot. So we do a lot of field work. We volunteer at Grand Canyon Trust. And so again, as some of the other programs have mentioned, I think this is a great resume builder to really beef up that resume with some research and some volunteerism. So here's a little bit about the courses. It is 17 units. And so we have an anthropology course that we've tried to make dovetail with general studies or liberal studies. Also, in B250, Environmental Conservation of the Colorado Plateau is a lab science course. So a lot of general studies requirements have a lab science requirement. And let's see, a political science course. Go to the next slide. And we have humanities and a directed study. And so all these courses do have H suffix or prefix. This program is offered in an honors college. Our website will say that we're looking for students from honors colleges and programs. If you are not in a honors college or program, we will consider accepting you. All we ask is a letter of recommendation, just talking about your academic chops. That's really it, and you're in the door. So yeah, we have humanities. So we really try to take a really broad view of the Grand Canyon. And so we have had fine arts majors take this program, and photography majors, journalism majors, med school majors. So I don't want to think that it's just ecology. We really try to take it broad. Yeah, so we've accepted some applications already, and we do have our own application deadline, March 6th, and our own application. It's just some essay questions we want you to look at. All that can be found from the Honors College homepage at Northern Arizona University. We're right there on the homepage of the Honors College, and we have a video there. We have frequently asked questions. We have a link to our application, and yeah, it's all there at Northern Arizona University Honors College. Yeah, and there's some contact info for me. And we do have a program assistant on staff right now who is an alumni from our program in 2024. This program will run in the fall of 2026, and it only runs on even years. So it'll be fall of 26 and then again in fall of 28. And I think our last slide is about cost, and I think Dave can explain the cost a little bit more.
Yeah, sounds great, Ted. The Grand Canyon semester operates on what we call away pay. Again, students will pay resident rate tuition directly to NAU and the associated costs as part of this program, including room and board. The fee amount, total amount, is about $11,049 for the semester. All right, wonderful. Thank you, Ted. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up, I'd like to introduce Kaylee from University of Alaska Southeast.
Hey everyone, my name's Kaylee. This is just kind of a refresher slide. I was an alum with NSE in 2021. I came to UAS from the Midwest. So that's a photo from my excursion here with my first salmon that I caught. So that was a very memorable NSE experience. And again, just as a refresher, Juneau is located in the Tongass National Forest, which is the largest national forest in the US, and it has the largest amount of biomass. So the amazing opportunities with our outdoor adventures, notable and unique programs is something I want to highlight. And then we have over 400 miles of accessible trails. No, sorry. And then that we have both notable and unique programs in Juneau as well as our Sitka campuses. Next slide. Thanks, David. So this is our main campus in Juneau. It's located on Auk Lake, just down from the Mendenhall Glacier and ice field. So location, you can't really get any better than our outdoor studies and some of our other programs. Our notable programs I tried to highlight as well as possible. We do have many more. These are just kind of the ones a lot of the exchange students gravitate towards. So our Alaska Native Studies and Languages, Environmental Science, Resources and Studies, Fisheries and Ocean Sciences, Indigenous Studies. And then one thing I wanted to highlight before moving on is our Ted Stevens Legislative Internship. Eligible UAA, UAF, and UAS students, as well as if you're on exchange, can do a internship with the legislative session every spring semester. There is a stipend for that, so you get living expenses. So if you're a J1 or F1 visa student, we would just need to work with your home coordinator, but there are very affordable ways to do that. And then that's one of the photos from our current NSE students. We went up to the ski area for a fun ski day on the holiday, and I just adore working with students. Next slide. Thank you. So our biggest draw is our Outdoor Skills and Leadership Certificate program. This is a 9-month intensive commitment from mid-August through mid-May because there is a capstone. It is financially eligible for inbound exchange students. We did have a student complete it last year from California. If students are not wanting to do a 9-month commitment for it, we do have ODS, outdoor studies classes, or PE classes such as backcountry navigation, backcountry skiing and snowboarding, avalanche safety, sea kayaking. So some of these photos, including ice climbing, are classes that you can just take while on exchange, but we also have the certificate program. I personally am taking the Wilderness First Responder course this spring, so there's a lot of cool access to getting you ready and prepared for some of either your career goals or your academic goals. And then some of the courses that are included are just listed here on the side. There's many more that are offered, and this is specifically at the Juneau campus. So what that means is there are excursions to different southeastern communities via these classes, such as Skagway, and then even up in Whitehorse in Canada. So you get to see a bit more of the region in addition to Juneau. And the top left photo is from one of the capstone excursions that students did up north. And then every January, students go to Japan for kind of a midway point of the program. So students just got back a few weeks ago from skiing and navigation courses in Japan with the school. So an international component can happen with NSE, as well as many other universities that are represented here. So your eligibility is meeting physical requirements. So there's a separate application for this that I'm happy to work with students on. You must be admitted to the ODS program, and then you have to have at least a 2.5 GPA or higher. Indigenous Studies and Northwest Coast Arts is another unique and notable program at UAS. In Juneau, as well as Sitka, classes are offered in either location. More classes are offered in Juneau in person. So our beginning carving class, I did beginner and intermediate as a student, and there's exchange students every semester taking these courses just because it is only offered at UAS. So you'll see in the bottom middle photo, one of our students is carving his Tlingit style paddle. We have weaving, natural dyeing, film line design. So we have a lot of really cool, unique classes that you can take. And then that's in addition to our Indigenous Studies and Languages as well. So again, you can do this as an occupational endorsement, or you can just take these classes on your own and fit them in, whether it's an elective or not, and you'll get resident tuition for these as well. And then our Sitka campuses draw exchange students every semester. So in this fall, it's strictly aquaculture. It's an intensive 13 credit semester with independent study or internship components, whether it's for credit or for pay. Again, if you're an F1 or a visa student, we would just have to work with your home coordinator to see how that best fits your visa status. But you live in Sitka, there's guaranteed housing on near campus, and then you can also find off-campus housing, and that's the same for Juno programs. There are additional course fees that may apply, but you are getting the resident tuition. There's additional funding for these programs as well, in Sitka specifically. So most of our students don't end up paying more than just even housing. So this is dependent per year, per fiscal year. So I would just have you inquire with me about additional funding sources, but there's usually a lot of great grant funding for these programs. Again, you just have to be admitted to the OE program, whether it's aquaculture or spring only, 13 credits for our scientific diving. And this is a really great skill building OE programs that you can do. And a lot of students actually do it either during gap years or after graduation. Or I had two students last fall come and do it. And then I have another exchange student doing the scientific diving. So I have students on hand that are willing to talk to you if you have questions as well from the student experience. But again, 2.5 GPA, be admitted to the program. There's some additional application features. And then these are just some of the photos of beautiful Sitka. There's also Whale Fest that happens every fall and a lot of really great community opportunities too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kaylee. So many of the programs, the special programs, especially that Kaylee mentioned, they're available on Away Pay. Program costs vary, but generally it's UAS tuition, in-state tuition, plus some course fees and things like that. But I will say also the campus, as are I think all of the campuses we talked about today, available on home pay for just traditional on the campus classroom learning. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Kaylee. Next up, we have the Wild Rockies Field Institute and Kelsey. Take it away, please.
Thanks. Hey, everyone. So I'm representing the Wild Rockies Field Institute. We're a little bit different. We are an entirely field-based organization that offers college credit through the University of Montana. And so we focus on rigorous liberal arts academics and place-based hands-on learning. So of our 7 different courses, you are spending the entire time camping, out in the field, backpacking, bike packing, flatwater boating, and learning about the humanities and sociology side of environmental issues. So you're getting credit in natural resource science and management, climate change studies, Native American studies, geology, geography, philosophy, studio art, anthropology. Our 7 courses kind of run the gamut. There's a lot that you can choose from. And these courses range in length from 3 weeks long in the summer to and worth 3 credits to a full semester long and worth 15 credits. And so that is a full semester living out of a tent. But our classes are really small, 10 to 12 students per class with 2 instructors, so 6-to-1 student to instructor ratio. And a really unique thing about our courses is that we bring in a lot of different guest speakers who are experts in their fields, whether that's folks who work in the oil and gas industry, the renewable energy industry, environmental journalists, politicians and policymakers, ranchers, folks who work for federal land management agencies like the National Park Service, and folks who work in the nonprofit sector. And so students are getting a lot of exposure to many different perspectives, beliefs, ways of thinking, as well as different career paths that are available to you. So you can go to the next slide. We focus on these 5 main subjects. All of our courses are really interdisciplinary. We get to do a lot of hands-on fieldwork in these courses as well. So you're gaining valuable skills that you could put on a resume. And we are very lucky that we've partnered with numerous indigenous nations, specifically the Hopi and Navajo down in Utah and Arizona, and the Salish, Kootenai, and Blackfoot in Montana. And so we bring indigenous elders onto our courses to teach students about indigenous ways of knowing and indigenous land management practices and how those differ from how the US government does things. We visit places like Glacier National Park to see the disappearing glaciers firsthand, and get our hands pretty dirty with all the field work that we do. You can go to the next slide. So as I mentioned, you're earning upper division college credit from the University of Montana. We have no prerequisites whatsoever, and we take students from all over the country. These are the different courses that you'd be getting credit in, or different departments, or whatever the equivalent would be at your institution. And you can hit next. So a quick rundown of our different courses. These are our 3 semester-long courses. Colorado Plateau in the spring. This takes you to the deserts of Utah and Arizona, and you get to learn about the geology, geography, and culture of the region, learning about water rights issues, water scarcity, lithium mining, while backpacking through all these desert washes and canyons, and also getting to float down the Green River for a week. Our summer semester is 6 weeks long, 12 credits, and this one is all about large landscape transboundary conservation of the Yellowstone to Yukon ecosystem, and how the US government, Canadian governments, and then First Nations and tribal governments, American tribal governments, differ in how they manage this landscape. So it's very focused on policy, lots of backpacking in the Canadian Rockies, as well as in Glacier National Park. And then in the fall, we have Montana Afoot and Afloat, all about human-land relationships and how those relationships are changing in the face of climate change. It's a big exploration of all of the landscapes that Montana has to offer, from the endangered American prairie to the Rocky Mountains. And you get to travel by boat for quite a lot of it through Missouri River Breaks National Monument and explore how waterways unite these rural towns. You can go next. And then our shorter courses, all of these take place in the summer. Cycle the Rockies is a 4 week long cycling course. You bike 700 miles across the state of Montana, learning about Montana's reliance on energy and the transition from extractive to renewable industries. Southwest Climate Studio Art is all an entirely front country course, so no backpacking required, but you are still living in a tent. And this one is down in New Mexico for 4 weeks. If you have a personal art practice that you want to dive deeper into, this course has students doing that on a daily basis while exploring their relationship to climate change, and meeting with Spanish and Indigenous communities in New Mexico. And then lastly, our 2 shortest courses, we have 2 sections of each of these. They're 3 weeks long, or 3 credits. Environmental ethics is a philosophy course that focuses on trying to answer the question, how do we envision a sustainable future? And it takes place in Northwest Montana and Glacier National Park. And then restoration ecology is a natural resource science and management class that takes place in and around Yellowstone National Park. By far the most hands-on field work in this course. And this course has students trying to answer how do we define restoration? What does that look like as the landscape can no longer support what used to be here? Next slide. So our tuition ranges depending on the course that you are enrolling in, but keep in mind the prices that you see include everything. Housing, because we provide the tents, and we also feed you dinner every night. And then all transportation once you are on course. We have a ton of discounts available. We also offer a bunch of scholarships. 99% of students who apply for scholarships get them. And it's open enrollment. It is first come, first serve. As I said, 10 to 12 students. And we are an away tuition NSE institution because we are a separate nonprofit from the University of Montana.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. And we have 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left, actually. I'd like to introduce Andrea, who's from the University of Montana Wilderness Institute, and she runs the Wilderness and Civilization program.
Thanks so much for sticking it out for this final presentation, folks. I love this program. I direct the program, and I also teach 2 of our courses. And for the past years that I've been involved, we've had NSE students almost every year, and we love that. Our program runs only in the fall, and it is a program that's based on campus, but because it's an 18 credit program, and because we are a cohort program, we can just take off whenever we want. So essentially, the program begins with a 10-day backpacking and river trip in the Bob Marshall Great Bear complex, and on the North Fork or the Flathead Wild and Scenic River, and then continues throughout the semester to send students out into the field for 2 and 3 day trips. And the idea, this program is based in the Wilderness Institute, which is a unit within the College of Forestry and Conservation. And our whole goal is to run an interdisciplinary program to encourage students and train students to develop your own personal definition of wilderness and explore the relationship between human communities and wild landscapes. And I just can't go without saying that all of the programs that we heard from here, well, not all of them, not the Grand Canyon program, but if they're not in Alaska, they're in Montana. So there's a reason. There's a reason for that. I mentioned the several longer expeditions that we take. Every single Friday is a field trip through the whole semester. And so it turns out that Mondays and Fridays Mondays are off and Fridays are in the field. And so we're packaging all of our 18 credits into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it's pretty packed. But one of the reasons I like that system is that we do have the opportunity for students to maintain a job. And I highly value all of the other opportunities that students have to get entirely in the field for the semester. I also appreciate that some students just can't do that and need to have work, paid work. And so our program allows you to do both, which I very much appreciate. Next slide. The program caps at 25 people. And as a result, and all of the courses that you take during the semester are only that group of students. And so this becomes a very tight-knit community. We take all majors. We love all majors. There are no specific academic prerequisites. And while most students in the program do come from wildlife and natural resource fields, environmental science and environmental studies, we have all kinds of students, journalism, political science. We had 2 dance majors this year, communication studies and disorders students, all kinds of people. And we love that because it really contributes to this dynamic environment where people are having very intense conversations, like we do around campfires pretty much every weekend. Next slide. I think so here's our courses. Our courses span the range from art and conservation ecology to literature, watershed and river science, and wilderness field skills. Those are the 2 classes I teach. And then we also dive deeply into wilderness ethics and history. Next slide. Oh, well, I do know that we take both home pay and away pay, and I would be delighted to chat with you. And I also just want to throw one last thing out there, which is if I were you, I would want to maybe try to figure out how to run 2 of these programs back to back. So you either do a whole program that's a year long in Alaska, or you do a WRFI course in the spring and come back and see us in the fall, or a summer program in Alaska and come back and see us in the fall. So that would be top on my mind. Okay, David, thanks so much for the opportunity.
Of course, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Stick around here for a few more minutes. I want to provide a little information for the students here. So your next step is to contact your home NSE coordinator. That is your point person on your campus to help you access NSE and all these great opportunities. And it's important that you start your NSE application now. Deadlines are coming up soon, especially for summer 2026 and fall 2026 programs. So start that application on the NSE website. And a couple of reminders. NSE does offer info sessions, so if you have general information about NSE or want to learn about other opportunities, please sign up on our website for info sessions and register for more NSE road trip sessions. We have one more coming up next week. We're featuring our HBCU campuses, historically Black colleges and universities. But like I said, we've done 8 other sessions featuring a wide variety of campuses and programs all across the US and Canada. So I really appreciate you all being here today. I'm going to stop this share. Thank you so much to presenters and for people here listening to the programs. Really appreciate your time. If you have to go, feel free to take off. But otherwise, I can hang out here for a few minutes, I would say, actually, if people do have questions for me or for any of our presenters that are still here today.